Hey everybody, this is Jim from Jim's Holies of Coleus, and we starting to move out to the greenhouse. What I'm doing here, I'm in New Jersey, as I said before, and the weather pattern looks like we have 50s, so a couple of upper 40s at night. So what I did is I moved out all of my pots that are pretty well, not mature, but pretty sturdy, hardy, whatever term you want to really use. Some cuttings and some of my larger pots. I still have a bunch of Coleus inside, and they're still a little bit young, so I'm gonna bring them out probably next week when the temperatures in New Jersey here are going to be above 50 at night. So right now I just had the door open for a while. It's a little over 80. I do have a disc furnace that I use the past 2 nights where it's gotten 48 or so. This disc furnace keeps it around 65 in here overnight, which is fine. I don't want to go from having, plants used to 70s into, 30-degree drops, 40-degree drops. So that's why I left some of the more tender ones in the house. But these are pretty established, and 65 is fine. This greenhouse, again, this is real greenhouse plastic. My son and I put the new shade top on. Let me go outside, I'll give you a look at what I mean by that. The shade top, the shade barrier, cuts down on the real harsh sunlight. Otherwise it would be, over 100 degrees in here. If I was growing vegetables or tomatoes or something, that's one thing, but Coleus, it would be just too hot. And this is a smaller greenhouse, so the shade barrier keeps it pretty moderate here. And then in the summer, once it starts getting 90 outside, then I'll have the windows open. I have a tilt window there. I have the door, and I keep a fan going, and I posted that on some other videos. That's an essential thing. Once you get your crops, if you're greenhousing, keep insects and so forth off. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but anyway, once it gets real hot, I get the fan out here. You gotta get that air movement. So anyway, as you can see, they're coming along nicely. I got a nice variety, and I still have hundreds inside. So all up top here, these are all my plants for my yard. I have a lot of these are rootings. And you can see they still have some growing, some shoots. I need to get this to cut these down and get that bottom growth going in. You can see there's lots of growth coming in. I have some peppers here, and these here, even though these are in pots, I'm going to transplant these to my larger pots on my deck, and they'll really look beautiful. Some in the back, but here. Again, these are all like singles. A nice variety of singles. Here's some those little gift window box planters. A nice variety. There's that black stockings plant. It didn't do this. This is going on 3 years old, so it didn't do too well this winter. But it will come back, but again, I tried to get some rootings because I was a little concerned, because it's not doing that well. But I keep this for myself. This is my own. And there's that's the Defiance. But I planted a bunch of Defiance seeds for myself. I got a bunch of Kongs here. Here's some rootings from myself, and again, you'll start seeing, I'm gonna actually trim this down more, and that'll get that undergrowth coming in. You'll see it right there. It starts coming in. A few more, another week or so in the greenhouse, and you'll see all the you'll see new growth coming in here. This is a Lord Voldemort, so it's a few years old, and I keep it. You can see that growth coming in. So, although it looks like a Charlie Brown tree, I've done this year after year. Plants that I really like to keep for myself, I root, and you can see all that growth coming in. So that will be a beautiful Coleus. So got some hanging baskets here, and this is basically what you do. These are just, I get these from a nursery greenhouse supplier. These are the little 6-inch ones I made. I bought a bunch of them, and I just put 3. I just choose 3 Coleus. There's a Jitters, it's like a Kong variety, and I just put them equally, you know, in either corner. And these will overflow. There's a nice finger paint or kaleidoscope. There's a couple of other varieties like that. There's a Jitters. I love the Jitters for hanging baskets. Jitters are really great because they get bushy and they hang down. They're just perfect for hanging baskets. So, and these are neat. These are really neat. I love these little green, different colored pot. You know, see again this one here, how it's getting really lanky, hanging down. This really needs to be trimmed to keep short. So, but they're really nice. All different colors. If that really comes out, there we go. They hang them on chain link fence, wherever. It's pink. It's just a small, but I have a whole bunch of them here. And down here is my favorite wavy pots. I have a whole bunch of those I keep, and these will fill out really nicely. There's a rooting in the back there that's a little too tall for the top here, up here. So what I do is I'll keep a pail of water in here because it's not really humid out here in New Jersey yet. So I'm going to keep a pail of water in here, and that'll boost the humidity levels in here. Right now the humidity is 30%, which for Coleus, that's not really good. It's not ideal. Coleus love hot, humid weather. So some really nice, that eye-catching pink, beautiful. And these are those little, you know. And as you can see, they again, I mentioned in a lot of my videos, the Coleus, the leaves grow 2 by 2 from the top. So you'll see that new growth coming in. Now this is a little planter, so I don't want to keep it tall. That goes for all of these. So I'm going to trim the tops. The big leaves I'm going to leave, but these tops I'm going to trim them, and I'll keep it from getting too tall, and it'll start promoting the bottom. So if you want to keep your Coleus short and trim, don't be afraid to cut. Just for example, the two large leaves, and then you have the 2 up and down, and then you're going to see some more coming in. That's how, I mean, so you just, you know, give this a little, still too young to trim, but that's how you pinch them off, and it's not going to harm your Coleus. It's going to help. That's nice. So just keep them trimmed down, like here, you know. I mean, this is a perfect example here. This is, you know, these are older. These really need to be trimmed down, but this is starting to grow up. So I'm going to trim the tops. All this is new growth. That's all new growth. So just trim all of this down. You see all that undergrowth coming in? You have a lot of undergrowth coming in. So just get rid of all these big old leaves need to be trimmed. That's what I'll do with this one here. That's just actually broke off. So, but this is an older plant. This is 2 years old. So I already trimmed a lot of it. You can see. But again, this is actually going into a larger planter, so I'm not really concerned right now. But again, same with that. See how it's just getting really tall? That's a Defiance. I'm going to put that in a big pot for my property. And it doesn't look great now, but it's again, this is overwintering. Now it's spring. It's in the greenhouse. This is ideal conditions. There's a rooting also. So in another week or so, they're going to really, it's like a nice vitamin for these. So, and this is how I do it year after year. I get these catering trays. I like these little pots. I buy in bulk. I use, again, I said it many times over, get good quality Miracle Grow or Jonathan Green, a name brand potting soil. You don't want to use soil from your yard for new plants. It's just too densely packed and too much garbage in it, and it's just the roots, germinating roots, won't do well at all. Let me close up shop here. Let's get the temperatures back up. I want to get it nice and toasty for tonight. It's going to be 52 degrees tonight, so I'm not really worried. They're not going to, so it'll stay 65 in here, which is fine. So, those are nice. I love these pots. Again, I have a little bunch here. I got some other ones up top. It's a little mess here. I did clean this up, but I moved things around again. And I got up a whole bunch. There's a large stock on the bottom here of all pots that I have. And some hanging baskets. I thought I ordered some greens this year. I got all white. I don't know why. But that's all right. There's some more. I had some leftovers. I love these. These are my favorite, but I can't find them in the store anymore. They sell them over in China, but I have to buy 1,000 or 2,000 of them. I really rather not. And so I just stick with these other ones. So, and of course these. You can see there's some jitters. Look at that. Is that neat or what? That's what I love about it, is how, you can seed a whole bunch of different varieties, and there's always one that's gonna come out and surprise you. And that's, I don't know if it's a mutation or what, but that is really neat. I'm really excited to see what that's gonna look like in a few more weeks. So here's a couple other little decorative pots. These are kind of young. Like this was a little small. I don't know how this one got out here, but that's what I mean by a little too tender. I mean, so this is all right. This is on the side by the window, by the light. So again, I'm gonna keep it nice and warm in here. But now there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of varieties of Coleus, and I every year I try to get a little something different. I do not propagate Coleus that are not allowed by law. There are certain Coleuses that are that people have the rights to, so I do not propagate them. I don't grow them in mass. I don't seed them and grow them in mass. So that's neat. That is absolutely my favorite. So I seeded a whole bunch of the Kongs, so I use them in my property, and they are the people's favorite. I have the little craft fairs and stuff. People love them, rightly so. And that's why I also like the jitters too, because they when I plant them together, I'll get this variation here, that splash of pink, that hot pink. So alright, so I got them in the greenhouse, as I said. Keep an eye on them. They're all hydrated. All the soil is hydrated. Just make sure your pots are well drained. They don't like saturated soil, but they don't like dry soil either. So, do your best to try to make sure that they're watered every couple of days. And it all depends on how much sun, how much heat, and so forth. So I'll know by the weight and how the looks of it, you don't want to overwater some of them because you can rot out the roots and so forth. So that's beautiful, huh? See, that's I mean, that's that jitters and Kong variation. And again, that's one of those hanging pots, those little chain link fence ones. So, all right. So thanks for following along. Hope I helping out everybody who's trying to grow their own, making lots of friends, as I said. I'm happy to help out any way I can. So I'll post a video another week or so. You'll see in another week how you know how they've changed so much, how the growth, once they get in here, it's a big acceleration. They really respond well to this greenhouse environment. That heat does wonders to them. I mean, being indoors in front of my bay window is fine and everything, but there's nothing like being in this bright, even with the shade cloth up top, it still gets that bright, you know, light and the heat that they love. So, and that's the name of the game. So, and I did put some at this point you can use the time release fertilizer pellets, you can see, but Miracle Grow generally has some fertilizer in it. So but I do shake a little bit once I get them into these. When they get started again in this size, I do put I do give them a couple of shakes of fertilizer, especially into these larger pots. I do give them a shot of time release fertilizer, and I'll give them, depending on how long I have these, I'll give a little shake every, you know, 2 weeks or so. But you can see here the little blue pellets, and it's good. Makes a difference. You know, although some will argue that Coleus don't really require a lot of fertilization, which is true, but when you're potting plants, once they get this, they're established and they're going, it doesn't hurt. You don't want to fertilize your overwintering Coleuses, but that's another story. So, all right, everybody, thanks for following along, and I'll post a video in another week or so. All right, have a happy Easter to those who celebrate Easter as a holiday. All right, take care, everybody.